Good morning. it's it's 14th of July, Bastille Day, so a jour férié, and we're not going anywhere. We won't go anywhere. We won't go out tonight and look at fireworks. Um, we haven't done that for a while anyway, but obviously with Mark not being able to walk or stand very far much, we wouldn't be doing that. Because if we wanted to look at fireworks, it would mean parking the car and walking to an event somewhere, so we won't do that. So we have no plans for the day. I think it's going to be a hot day. It's quite pleasant at the moment. I'm sitting next to the window, with the window open next to me, but I'll have to close that later. I had a very short night the night before last. 4 hours. I think I had a horrible, horrible night. It's called in France. It's called a nuit blanche, which is a white night when you hardly sleep. Um, it just was, yeah, it was horrible, and I couldn't lay there. Like eventually you fall asleep, but we had to be up at 7:30 because Jonathan was coming to sort the rest of the trees out. So I couldn't lay and catch up sort of, through the early part of the morning. So yeah, so he was here yesterday. All of the trees have sorted, all of the logs have been moved. They're now distributed in places on the edges of the field, um, which is fine. There's tons. He says, "Oh, that'd be great for kindling. Tons of kindling," and we don't really use kindling. We've got a lot of kindling in one of those old grey shed things. One of those was filled with kindling. Was filled with battens from the old roof when that was done 12 years ago. And we haven't even worked all the way through that. And then on top of that, somebody went round the garden. I think I got our neighbour's son to go round the garden and pick up all the little branches that come off the trees in the wind. They all went in the shed, and we've now got great big piles of it everywhere. And I said, that'll last us until we're 120 or more. So, but it's okay. It's out the way, and it can stay out the way. It's not doing any harm now. And so there's big areas where the gardener, the man that came to mow the grass, wasn't able to get to. Um, and I'm going to contact him next week because I imagine that he's going to be heading next door again, because I think Francoise said to me she'll be here at the end of July, so he'll probably be coming this way, and I'll get him to come in and do another mow out the back there and a strim and get those other bits down that he couldn't get to because of the trees in the way. So that's a good thing. We were out again last night. We went out. We met Lizzie and her friend Bob, and had a meal out at Le Patisson again, where we were eating last week with the art group. Nice meal, nice company, lovely evening again. Not quite so many flies. They arrived at one point. I thought, oh God, I'd forgotten the flies. But then they went away. Maybe it was because there were quite a few people around and we were on an edge, and maybe they went and visited other people, which suited me. Quite happy with that. Uh, so yeah, and so last night, I've been taking, on and off, not much now, Piriton, and I wasn't planning on taking a Piriton, but I got bitten, and I could feel it, and I knew that I'd be, scratching it a lot overnight. So I thought I'm going to take a Piriton. So I took a Piriton, and of course I slept well because of that. It's not making me drowsy in the day, and it's not knocking me off in the day like sometimes it has. But I had a really long sleep, catching up on the sleep that I didn't have the night before, so that was good. Um, I just could hear earlier the golden oriole out there, um, but it's gone now. It was quite close. I could hear it. It was quite close. I was thinking. I was thinking this morning as I was waking, about the parade down the Champs Elysees, that happens each year on Bastille Day, and I might actually put the telly on in a minute. I'm not sure what time it happens. It's quite early. I think it's not late during the day. It's probably about to start. Um, I was remembering one year that I think when Trump was president, that he was visiting and watched that parade, and um, I believe, and I can't remember whether I read it or whether he said something or whatever, that he was incredibly envious. He wouldn't have said envious. And I think that that was, um, maybe it was before he was president. I think he tried to recreate it on Inauguration Day. And I can just remember him and is it Melania walking down that road, surrounded by empty stands where there were no people, with this motley crew of cars and motorbikes and I don't know, I can't remember it very well, but it was just so funny watching him wanting to recreate this magnificent parade that they have here in Paris. It just made me laugh. It's yeah, you can't recreate that. It unless you're Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is. It's sort of a Korean thing. It's just how it is, and Trump failed miserably. So I was thinking about that. So I'm going to turn the telly on and have a look and see if I've missed it, or whether I've probably missed it. Because it's this time of year, it is probably earlier in the morning when it's cooler. So yeah, I'm going to turn the telly on and have a look. I'm going to do special fried rice for lunch, for dinner. Sort of at the moment have given up trying to avoid carbs, because it's just it's easier. That's the problem with carbs. It's easier to cook with potatoes or rice or spaghetti or what's the other thing? I can't remember. I made a loaf of bread yesterday. I haven't done that for ages. I made bread in the bread maker, and we had that for lunch. Did we? Yeah, we had it for lunch, because we knew we were going out last night. So I've got half a loaf still in the tin. So yeah, I'm not trying to avoid carbs at the moment, and it's the way it is. I've done quite a bit more of my sunflower painting. I'm gonna fetch it. So I've still got a few to do. I do one or two every time I pass it. It's quite nice, actually. They're the pastels I'm using. They are so soft, they just turn to powder. And I had to get the handheld hoover out yesterday to see. Look, I only held that. So I just held that. I haven't pressed it. I held it really gently. I had to get the handheld hoover out yesterday because there was just pastel dust everywhere. Not that it matters, but yeah. So I'll probably finish that today. I'll certainly do quite a bit more of it. I'm quite enjoying it. I like it. I like suddenly going and doing something and not really knowing where I'm planning to go and ending up doing something like that. And I don't know whether I said, but I'd been watching Landscape Artist of the Year again and Portrait Artist of the Year again. So that sort of inspired me to get up and, I've got 2 canvases out there. I thought I needed to do something. So that's what I did. So that's all for now. I've got some emails that I haven't replied to, and I'm sorry I've not replied to them. I've read them, and thank you very much for emailing me, but I haven't replied to them, and I might do later. Now I've had a good sleep. Sometimes I'm just so tired. I read them, and then I think, oh God, I can't look. I can't reply. Oh, and thank you to Anita. I saw your sunflower painting. It's lovely, really lovely. And I will reply at some point. Okay, have a good Bastille Day, or 14 as they say here, and see you again soon.